Hello student, myself Professor Ushali Tapde from ICEEM Engineering College. Today we will discuss about what is an array. In last two lectures we had discussed about what is a data, what are the different data types, what is the data structure, how the data is get structurized, what is the need of structurizing the data, what are the different advantages of structurizing the data, how we can manipulate that data or how we can access that data. Then we have discussed about the types of data structure, like a primitive data structure, non-primitive data structure. What do you mean by primitive data structure? Then we discuss about what is a non-primitive data structure. Again, the types of the non-primitive data structure, like a linear list, then non-linear list, and the examples of linear list and non-linear list. All these topics are covered in a first lecture. Then in the second lecture we had discussed about the abstract data types. That means how to write the abstract data type for the particular data structure for the given problem statement. What is the abstract data type, what is the data abstraction, all these concepts have been covered in the last lectures. Now in today's lecture we will discuss about the first data structure, that is called as an array. Yes, array is a data structure, and in this lecture we will discuss about what is an array, what are the different types of array, what are the applications of array. Then we discuss about this declaration of array, how to declare the array. Then what are the different types of array. In that we will discuss about the one dimensional array, then two dimensional array, multi-dimensional array, how to declare one dimensional array. Then we learn about how to write the program for one dimensional array, that means how to access the elements of one dimensional array, how to display the elements of that array, how they are get represented inside the memory, how they are stored inside the memory. Then we discuss about the two-dimensional array, how the two-dimensional array data is get stored inside the memory, how to access that element, how to display that element. All these things are covered in this video. So we start with the definition of array. What is an array? Array is nothing but a collection of elements of the same data type. It may be the collection of integers, it may be the collection of characters, or array may be the collection of doubles. Now, this means if we have a data of the same type, if we have a numbers, then we can create an array of the integer types. We can say it is a array of integer. If we want to store the student's name is nothing but a character, right? So if we want to store that data, then we can create the array of characters. Next thing about the doubles, that means if you want to store the floating point values, large values, in that case you can create the array of floats. So but all the data elements in that array of the same types. If you are saying integer array, so at that time whatever the value you are storing in that array, all they are pure numbers, they are an integer value. If you are saying character array, in that case whatever the values that are stored inside that array is nothing but a character, they are purely character. It is not a mixing type, like some values are characters, some values are numbers, some values are floats. No, this is not possible, because array is a purely collection of data elements of the same type. Each and every value is having the same data types. So array is the most commonly used data structure. Now whatever the values you are storing inside the array, each and every value in that array is called as array elements. Understood? Whatever the values you are storing inside the array, each and every value of that array is called as array elements. Now array store multiple values of the same type. As I told you ki whatever the elements you have stored inside that array, all the elements have the same data types. Now the element type can be the primitive type or an object reference. What do you mean by this statement? The element type can be the primitive type or they can be an object reference. That means inside array whatever the value stored, that element, it may be the normal value, unique value, or it may be the address of another data structure. That means it may be hold the another data structure, another array. The element of array can be the unique value or it can be the another array, address of the another array. It may be possible. Therefore, we can create the array of integers, array of characters, array of string objects, as well as the array of coin objects. I hope you will understood what is a array. This is a simple definition. Array is nothing but a collection of elements of the same data type. Then each and every value which we are storing inside the array, they are called as the array data elements of your array, and each and every element has the same data type. Now, what are the different applications of array, or we can say where these arrays get used in a real time? If you want to calculate the test score, whatever the data you have stored about the student, and if you want to calculate the score of that student, you can use the array for calculating the test score, determine the maximum and minimum score, that is who is the topper of our class, who gets the minimum marks in my subject. In this way you can calculate the score of the different tests with the help of array. Then read a list of student names and rearrange them in an alphabetical order. This is one of the best application of your array, is that it is used for searching and sorting methods. Whatever the data we have collected inside, whatever the data we have, we can use the array data structure for storing that data, and then we can perform the two applications, that is called as a searching and sorting. That means sorting means we can arrange that data whatever stored inside the array in alphabetical manner, either in a ascending or descending order. So performing these two operations, searching and sorting, you can use the array, which is one of the application of your array. Then next is, given the height measurements of student in a class, output the names of those students who are taller than average. That means whatever the operations, if you want to find out the maximum value, if you find out the minimum value, whatever the different type of operation you want to perform on the data, you can store that data inside the array, and you can perform the various operation with the help of array. So these are the different applications of array. Now next thing, how to declare the array. Continuously, as I am saying that array is a collection of data. Whatever the data you can store in an array, they are called as the data elements. Then what are the different applications where the arrays get used? Now how to declare the array? We understood about what is array. Now what is the syntax of array? So syntax of array is nothing but, first you need to declare the data type, then array name, and after that array size. Now here I am giving you an example. Integer array name is a AR of 10, which are given in a square bracket. Whatever the dimension of your array, that means size of your array, that is specified inside the square bracket. Okay, so the data type of this array is nothing but an integer. Array name is a AR and its size is 10. That means this array AR is holding 10 elements of integer data types. That means it holding 10 values which are the pure numbers, which are the whose data type is a integer. Understood? So all the values which are stored inside this array is nothing but a integer value. Okay. Here I am showing you how these arrays get declared. When you are saying integer AR of 10, in that case this array name is a AR, and 10 values are 10 memory locations are get assigned to this AR. Now you know that integer data type require 2 bytes. For each integer data elements it gives 2 bytes. So now we are declaring integer AR of 10. This array holding 10 values and each value get 2 bytes. So how many bytes are given to this array? Right, for this array 20 bytes are given. How to calculate this? See here, 10 elements of your array and each element given 2 bytes. So 10 multiplied by 2, how much? 20 bytes. So how much memory is given to this array? 20 bytes. Understood? So 20 bytes are, and now this is the homogeneous, and they are stored inside the memory in a linear fashion, one after another. That means if first element of your array is stored at a 2000 memory location, this is an example ki if it is stored in a 2000 location, then second element is stored in a 2002. Why it is stored in a at address 2002? Because integer required 2 bytes. So if first element is stored at a 2000 location, then it required 2 bytes, 2000 and 2001. So next element is stored at a 2002. So that element required 2 bytes, that is a 2002, 2003. Third element is stored at a 2004. In this way it get 20 bytes to store the 10 elements inside the memory. Now by default, always remember, this is very important thing, by default your array is always started with a 0th location. That means even if I have a 10 blocks, okay, so how many scripting here showing you 0 to 9. If you look at here, I am showing you 0 to 9 value, that is a 0. First element is we are referencing that element as a AR of 0 and last element AR of 9, because by default array is started with the location 0 and last element is at 9. So total 0 to 9 you have a 10 elements, right? Whatever I explain in that diagram, that is written here, how to subscripting, how to access, or we can say referencing the elements of array. When you are saying integer AR of 10, that means you are creating the array of 10 integers. By default the first array index nothing but started with a 0, because default value of the array is started with index 0. So first element have the index number 0. If you look at here, the first index of array is a 0, whereas the second is 1, then it's going on till the 9. So in that way the last element of your array is having the index number 9, because you have started with the index number 0. So last element is having index number 0. That I have explained here. That is the subscript is a bracketed expression. The expression in the bracket is known as an index. Whatever you have written inside this square bracket, okay, that is nothing but a index number of the array, which element you are referencing. Understood? Whether you are referencing the first element, whether you are referencing the second, whether you are referencing the third, which element you want to access. Now by default the first element has the index number 0, okay. So here I am saying that the first element of array has index 0, so we are saying AR of 0. Second element having index 1, then third element having index 2, fourth element having index 3, and in this way the last element having the index number A of 9, it is not A of 10. Understood? Please remember this. First element have the index number A of 0. That's why last element have index number A of 9. In this way 0 to 9. If you can start calculating 0, 1, 2, 3 in that way, at the 9th position your 10 elements are get completed. So incorrect indexing is a common error which is occurred inside the while writing the array program. Now here I am again showing you if I want to store, okay, if I want to initialize some index value of my array with the common some default value, right? Suppose I want to initialize the fourth value inside my array. If I want to store the fourth value inside my array is equals to 1, okay, as I shown here. If I want to store the fourth value which is equals to 1, so in which index number I can store it? Obviously at a third index. Even though I want to store the fourth number of element, I have to store it at a third position, AR of 3. Why this is? Because by default array started with a 0. So 0, 1, 2, 3. So fourth element is at a index number AR of 3. So here I am saying AR of 3 is equals to 1. Okay. So in that case it store one value at a fourth position, that is at the third index number. And you can, here I am saying integer x is equals to AR of 3. What do you mean by this statement, integer x is equals to AR of 3? That means I am retrieving this value, one value which is at the third index, at the inside the array at the third index. Which value is there? 1. Now this one value I am storing in the variable x. So what is the value of x now? X is equals to 1, because whatever the value which is stored at this location AR of 3, that is now stored inside this x, because I am saying x is equals to AR of 3. Understood? In this way you can store the default values in the array, or you can accept the array elements from the user also inside the program. You can store default values inside the array, or you can accept the values from the user. Now the next question that arises, if array is always started with a 0, can I start my array with a 1? Obviously you can start. By default this is started with a 0, but you can change. You can say that the first value is stored at the first index number as per your for loop. If you have started your for loop with the first position, obviously your array index is started with the first. Then you can say 1 to 10. Okay. If your array is started with the 0th index, then 0 to 9. You can start your array from the first index, that is the first to 10. In that case, you have to start your for loop from the first element, that is I is equals to 1, not I is equals to 0. Now, how to write the program for one dimensional array? Here I am showing you writing how to write the program for one dimensional array. Hash include stdio.h. This is nothing but a standard input output header file which includes different input output functions which we need to include inside our program. So here we are saying hash include standard input output.h header file. We are including this file inside our function which contains different input output functions such as scanf and printf. Then we are second statement is hash include conio.h. What is the meaning of this statement? Hash include conio.h. Conio.h, it is nothing but a console related input output function. Whatever the console related input output function I want to use inside my program, I include that function with the help of header file by including that header file inside my program. Now, in last lecture, I told you the structure of C program. Obviously, the compilation of your C program is started with a function main. This is an entry point of your C program. So, inside the main, I am writing, you can say the main is a function. So, whatever the return type of your function, if you are not returning anything, you can say void. If you are returning something, you can say integer. That is a return 0. Okay, so in that case you can define the return type as an integer. It doesn't matter, you can say void main also. Now here I am initializing the a of 3. I am using a single dimensional array a of 3. So I am creating the array of 3 elements, integer a of 3. That means I am creating the array whose name is a, which contains 3 elements. By default 0, 1, 2. It contains 3 elements with the index 0, 1, 2. Understood? Here I am creating array of the integer data types which contains 3 elements. Okay, now first thing which we have to do is that we need to accept the elements of array. Now we want to accept more than one value. Right, when we want to access more than 1 or 2 value, in that case we are using the looping statement. You can use either for loop, you can use the while loop. That is depend on you which loop you want to use. Here I am using the for loop. If I want to access more than one value, at that time instead of writing scanf in that many times, what I have to do, I can write only one scanf statement and return that scanf statement inside the looping statement. So the whatever the as many times that for loop is get executed, that many time that scanf statement is get executed. Now I want to accept here the 3 element. I want to access 3 elements from the user. Then what I can then I am doing here, I am using the for loop which can which index is I is equals to 0, I less than 3, I plus plus. That means this loop is executed 3 times for accepting 3 elements from the user. Now from taking value from the users, which statement we are using? Scanf. Right, scanf. Now what is the format specifier for the integer data type? It is nothing but a %d. %d which specified to the compiler that which type of data is accepting. %d is there, that means compiler understood whatever the data given by the user, that is nothing but of a integer data type. And addressing operator, integer a of I. Sorry, here my scanf closing bracket is remaining. So you need to clear here scanf %d and a of I, there is a closing bracket. Okay, so addressing operator, it gives the memory address. What this AND operator do is it gives the memory address where this one by one element of array is get stored. Okay, a of I, that is the index number, at which index number your element is stored. Now here I is equals to 0, so the first element is stored at index a of 0. When this closing bracket is received, at that time your i's get incremented. So now the next value of I is 1. Okay, 1 is less than 3. Condition is true, so it goes inside the for loop and take the second value which is stored at the a of 1. Because I value is 1, so a of 1. Again the bracket is closed, I value is get incremented. Now I becomes 2. So it again check 2 is less than 3. Yes, 2 is less than 3. So it goes inside the for loop. Again take the value from the user which is stored at the location a of 2. That is the array index a of 2. Again the bracket is closed for loop. So I values get incremented which is becomes 3. Now it check condition 3 is less than 3. No, 3 is not less than 3. So it comes outside the for loop. When the condition is false, at that time it goes outside the for loop. Here our accepting the elements of array is completed from the user. Okay, so next thing we have to do is we need to display whatever the elements were accepted from the user. Now we are displaying that element. So how to display that element? With the help of printf statement. Okay, the same for loop I am using here, only instead of scanf I am using here the printf, and inside the printf we are saying that printf %d a of I, whatever the values we are storing, that is we are displaying the value. Sorry, again there is my printing mistake. Inside the printf there is no AND operator, because whatever the value that are stored inside the memory location, we need not require give to address and operator, because that values are already stored on that memory location. We need to only access that. We need not need to store. Whenever we want to store something, we require where we have to store that value. So we require some address. So that purpose in the scanf AND operator is used, but inside the printf there is no need of AND operator, because already values are stored somewhere. So we need to only access it. So by mistake I have written there the AND operator, because of the copy paste similar part I am copying again to the printf statement. This is my mistake. So please look at here, there is no AND operator inside the printf. Okay, so in this way you can write the program for one dimensional array. It will accept 3 elements from the user and display the 3 values of that array elements. Next, about the multi-dimensional array. Multi-dimensional array, that means multi-dimensional array can accept more than one dimension. Array can have many dimension. That means it has more than one dimension. That is called as a multi-dimensional. That means we are saying a of 3 means what? A of inside the square bracket we are saying. That means it is a single dimensional array which size is 3 elements. 2 dimensional means a of 3 by 3. That means there are 2 square bracket after the array name and their size. That is called as a 2-dimensional array. Each dimension subdivides the previous one into the specified number of elements. Each dimension has its own length constant, because each dimension in an array of array references, the arrays within one dimension can be of the different length. Now here you will clear this idea. 2-dimensional array has the number of rows and number of columns, whereas the 3-dimensional array get into the more than 2 dimension. Okay, here I am showing the multiple dimensions view, how they are visualized graphically. Okay, so if we want to accept now one dimensional array, how to accept the element of one dimensional array, we know it properly. Now how to accept the 2-dimensional array elements, how to use the for loop for accepting the 2-dimensional array elements, we understood this. Now 2-dimensional array, that means number of rows. First column is saying that when you are saying a of 3 by 3, the mainly two multiple dimensional arrays used for the matrix application. 2-dimensional or 3-dimensional, they are used for the matrix application purpose. When you want to accept or display the matrix element, you can use the 2-dimensional array. So whenever you are saying a of 3 by 3, okay, the first square bracket says that rows number and second bracket says that column number. Okay, so these are the rows value 0, 1, 2, 3, whereas these are the columns value 0, 1, 2, 3. So the number of rows and number of columns which are says in a 2-dimensional array. Okay, now here I am showing you in 1-dimensional array we have only rows. In that we have only the columns in which the elements are get stored. But in the 2-dimensional array, it can be of the table format, that is a number of rows and number of columns. Understood? In the 1-dimensional array, all the elements are stored in a list format. In a 2-dimensional, it is like a table like structure in which elements are stored in a rows and columns. Okay, so here I am showing you how to accept two-dimensional array elements. Now we have a two-dimensional. If we have a one dimension, you can use one for loop. If you have a two-dimensional array, you can use a two for loop. One for accepting the rows elements, one for accepting the column elements. Outsider for loop is always accepting the rows elements. Understood? And remember always this, whenever you are using two-dimensional array, you are using two for loop. The outer side for loop, this outer side for loop is for the rows and inner side for loop is for the columns. That means in that row, whatever the columns you have, you are taking that values of the first row. Then you are moving to the second row. Then in the second you are accepting all the values of the second row. That is a 1, 2, 3, whatever the columns you have in that rows. Then you are moving to the next column, next row. Understood? So outer for loop is always for the rows and inner for loop is for the columns. Okay. Now here I am using two for loop because I am showing you how to accept elements for the two-dimensional array. In the first for loop, I am initializing, I am taking the variable that is a row, and inside the inner for loop I am taking variable column. To understood, outer side for loop is for the row and inner side for loop is for the column. So in outer side for loop, what we are saying, row equals to 0 till row not equals to 5, row plus plus. Okay. So my array is of 4 by 3. How much? 4 by 3 or 4 by 4? Yes. How much row and how much column it is accepting? Yes, right. So for loop here, that is a outer, that is for the row, and inner for the column. So same like your one dimensional array, here I am just including one more for loop, that is for the column and the scanf statement. Inside the scanf, what I am saying, the my array name is a my array and row and column, that is a I and j. If you are saying ij value, instead of row and column, if you are using I and j, then you here you can say ij. Here what is the index name, variable name, that is a row. So here is a row, here is column, then column number. Okay. Inside the first row, first column, inside the first row, second column. In this way it will accept the values of the two-dimensional array. Then how to print the element of the two-dimensional array? With the self for loop which we are using for the accepting, only instead of scanf, what we are saying, printf. Okay. So for accepting element we are using two for loop, and inside that we are using the scanf statement. For displaying the two-dimensional arrays, we can use the two for loop, and inside that we are using the printf statement. I hope you understood how to accept and display the two-dimensional elements or two-dimensional arrays. This is regarding how the elements are stored in a column and row measuring ordering. Here I have shown you. For example, if I have declared 2 by 3 array, understood, 2 by 3 array, that means 2 rows. Here I am showing 2 rows. Okay. And 3 columns, 1, 2 and 3. 1, 2, 3. These are the 3 columns and 2 rows. Now in that I am storing the value 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So how to declare default values inside the array? Inside the C programming, the array is declared inside the C programming as with a default value integer a of 2 by 3. That is a 2 row 3 columns is equals to 1, 2, 3. That is the first row contains 3 elements, 3 columns, 1, 2, 3, which value is 1, 2, 3, and second row contains again a 3 column whose value is 4, 5, 6, and they are continuously storing inside the memory. That means inside the memory, after the first row, the second row is get stored. So how the output is get printed? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This is again how to print the values of two-dimensional arrays, which I have already told you. Use the two for loops, one outer for loop for the rows, inner for the columns, and you can use the printf statement for displaying the values of your two-dimensional arrays. This is same thing regarding your column measure order. Similar method for flattening the arrays in onto the linear memory, but the columns are listed in a sequence. Instead of listing the row in a sequence. What we are doing here, we are list out our columns in a sequence. So how the output will be get, how the data is stored inside the memory, they are stored in column wise. In the row major order, what happened, the data is stored row wise. First the data of first row, all the data of first row is stored, then the second row's data stored. But in the column major order, what happens, first column data, if the first column contains 10 value, it store first 10 value, then goes on a second, then goes on a third. In this way the output now, the way of showing the output is get changed. Here first it shows the first column value A14, then 25, and then 36, instead of showing 1 2 3 4 5 6. So this is the basic difference between the row major order and column major order. Now this is the how to write two-dimensional array. The same way as we know, we are writing the program for the one-dimensional array. Just here what I am doing, we are declaring the two-dimensional array because I am adding one more dimension to the array A. First, in one-dimensional array we are saying integer a of 3, but in a two-dimensional array what I am saying, integer a of 3 by 3 of 3. That means this is a 3 by 3 two-dimensional array. So it contains total 9 elements, 3 by 3. That is a 3 multiplied by 3. 3 rows, 3 columns. So it contains total 9 elements. So how to accept the elements of array? With the help of two for loop. This is outer for loop for the number of rows and inner for loop for the number of columns. Okay. And then inside that we are using scanf statement for accepting the array elements from the user, and we are saying scanf %d ampersand operator, which is specifying the memory address where this value is stored, that is a of ij. I is nothing but the row and j is nothing but a column. In this way it will accept the array value. First, when array I is equals to 0, 0 is less than 3, so it goes to the next statement inside this I for loop, where for j is equals to 0. Now this 0 is less than again 3, so it goes to the scanf statement and accept the values from the user, that is at the location a of 0 0. Okay, when this inner for loop is get completed, when the curly bracket is completed, at that time j value is get incremented. Now j become 1, but I is become 0. I is not get this for loop is not get completed. I is remains 0, but j is 1. So next value you are accepting is a of 0 1. That means row 0 first column. In this way it will accept the different values from the for the two-dimensional array whose name is a. And the same loop we are using for displaying the array values. Instead of only the scanf, we are using here the printf statement. Okay, in this way we are writing the program for the two-dimensional array. I hope you understood about the array, how to accept the element of array, what are the different types of array, then how to declare the array, what is an array, then what is the difference between one-dimensional array and two-dimensional array. Always remember one thing, if you are using one-dimensional array, you required one for loop. Why we required for loop for accepting the array elements? Because array contains more than one or two values, right? So in that case, if we want to accept that many values, we repeatedly accepting the values. That's why we are using the looping statement. So if you have a one-dimensional array, you can use the one for loop. If you have a two-dimensional array, you can use a two for loop. So it is easy for writing the program. You understood this concept. Okay, so now how to write one dimensional array and how to write program for the two dimensional array, I think you will understood this. If you have any problem, please revise the for loop concept, and if you have any doubt, please ask me. We will cover in a next lecture. Thank you.